Hi guys, welcome. Today we're going to be making this beautiful Galentine's Day wreath. Let's get started. So from the dollar store, I picked up the heart frame, the red burlap ribbon, this table scatter with pink and red glitter hearts, the decorative mesh, and then from Michael's I picked up 2 rolls of ribbon, one in red and one in pink, and each one of those were 50 cents. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do whenever you're wrapping a wreath with odd corners is wrap the corners so that as you're wrapping the wreath with your ribbon or your burlap, you don't have to worry about this part. So let me show you how to do that. You're going to take this and you can kind of measure it. You're going to be gluing it right here in the corner, and then you're going to take it around and glue it here. So I see that I need this much burlap, so I'm going to cut this piece and glue it on. Okay, so my piece is cut, so now I'm going to glue this part right here and then flip it over and glue it on the back. And be careful because hot glue is really hot, so just make sure that you don't burn yourself. So I'm gonna let this cool for a second. I'll be right back. My next step is to fold these 2 pieces in and glue them so that it forms a point. And I'm just going to actually glue the pieces in on itself. So I'm gonna just fold this in like this, and this one in the same way. So I have a little bit of extra burlap right here that I'm going to trim off, and then I'll be ready to wrap my wreath. This burlap has wire in it, so it's easily bent, but I understand that some burlap doesn't, so you can decide whether you want to glue the burlap directly to the frame or glue it to itself, whichever is easiest for you. I've decided to glue the burlap directly to the frame, so I'm going to take a little bit of the glue, put it right here, and then hook the burlap. And I kind of want it to be tight, so I'm just going to smooth this on here and pull it and let it dry. Now we're ready to wrap the wreath. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'm going to come back after it's wrapped because it's hard to wrap over my camera. So you're going to take this roll and you're just pulling it underneath. Like this. And then you're just going to go over it until you get all the way around with as much burlap as you can. Okay, so the first half of my wreath is wrapped, but I did want to show you something. If you're a perfectionist or if you need everything to look as symmetrical as possible, just make sure that when you're wrapping your wreath, you're using the same width in between each wrap. Otherwise, it's going to look a little bit lopsided like these 3. My first half of the wreath is wrapped in a way that's pleasing to me. I like how it turned out, so I am going to cut this portion off and secure it on the back. So this is the back part of the wreath. All I'm going to do is take this, and I want a really tight wreath, so I'm going to glue it right here. Just take your hot glue gun, add a dot, pull it tight and let it dry for a minute and then cut. And I wanted to show you that I kind of adjusted it so that it ended up just underneath this V. Okay, so my hot glue is secure. Now I'm going to fold this back and cut this piece. For the second half, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the first half of the heart. Also, if you feel that you're going to have problems coming around this corner, you can wrap this point much in the same way that we wrapped this point. I wasn't really worried about the point, so I'll show you what I did. I just took this, folded it around, glued it right here, and then I'm just going to wrap it around this way. So the heart is now wrapped, and now we just need to secure the back part. So I'm going to turn this over, and you have a couple of choices. You can either glue it or you can tuck it in. I'm going to try the tucking in method. So I'm just going to pull this really tight and tuck it in right here. And you can always secure your heart or your wreath with just a little bit of glue. But as you can see, this is covered nicely, and we are ready for the next step, which is covering the heart with ribbon. Our next step is to add the red ribbon. So I'm just going to take a tiny dot of my hot glue gun, attach the ribbon, and just wrap the heart however I want. So I wrapped the heart with the red ribbon. I am going to cut this piece and then glue it with the hot glue gun and start off with the pink. So I glued the red piece right here, and then I'm just gonna glue the pink piece right on top just because I want to kind of cover the edge of the red piece. The pink ribbon is now wrapped. I'm going to cut it and secure it with the hot glue gun. The wreath turned out really pretty, and you can stop here, but I'm going to add a couple of more embellishments that I showed you in the supply list, which are these hearts and a mesh bow that I made. And I made the bow literally by taking the mesh, bunching it in the center, and then tying a ribbon around it. It's always a good idea to place the embellishments before you glue them, just to get an idea of how your project's going to look. I am going to hot glue all the extra pieces on and show you the final result. This is the final result. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next Thursday at 2 p.m.